Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Nano Blitz podcast. I'm here with my friend and co-host Ethan Silver.
Hey Ben, this is a part two to our first video. Go check it out. It is the first 16 picks of the draft grade, and we go in a little bit of depth. So I definitely check that out. But we're picking it up right at pick number 17 with the Las Vegas Raiders. So looking at their class right now, they draft Alex Leatherwood, Trayvon Moehrig, Malcolm Kuntz, Divine Diablo, which is a super cool name, Tyree Giuseppe, Nate Hobbs, Jimmy Morrissey.
You know, the Raiders do what they always do, and they spend the first round pick on someone that no one has any clue what they're doing, but they draft the guy that John Gruden likes. And Alex Leatherwood, he's a good player. He's definitely a good player, but is he really worth a first round pick?
Here's my look at this. But the first thing I notice when I look at the Raiders draft class isn't even Leatherwood. It's Trayvon Moehrig, a lot of people's number one safety for a long time. Maybe the move drafting 3 safeties might be a little crazy, but Jeff Heath is the worst starter on the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't think that's that crazy. They definitely had probably the worst secondary in the league. So yeah, I don't think that's very crazy. And they got honestly, that second round pick kind of made up for an overdraft in the first round. They got possibly, as you said, a lot of people consider him the best safety in the draft class. So they definitely made up for that. So this draft is really weird because they made mistakes. They made up for their first round mistake, but some of these mid round picks kind of hurt them. So what's your grade on them?
One more thing I'd like to add. I'm really surprised they didn't draft. I just, for some reason this year, I thought the Raiders were taking a QB like 5, 6, 7.
Maybe.
And they didn't. So it doesn't really matter, but it's just interesting. This is one of the lower graded drafts for me for sure. This is like a D-.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that low because I do like the Trayvon Moehrig pick, but
I think Alex Leatherwood isn't that bad, and I think Trayvon Moehrig, but past that, there's nothing.
Alex Leatherwood is a good player, but he was not worth first round pick. And considering, I believe Samuel Cosmi was there as well.
Yeah, Sam Cosmi didn't fall till way late.
I'm going to give them a C-. I actually no, I'm going to give them a D+. They had some really bad mid-round selections. I'm giving them a D+.
And position-wise, they took just so many DBs, and it's just a little much. It's a little much.
And moving on, a team that we have been wanting to talk about for a while, the Miami Dolphins, who had a very good draft on paper, selecting Jalen Waddle, reuniting with him with Tua with pick 6. They got another Miami guy, Jalen Phillips, with their second first, a great safety, Javon Holland, Liam Etchenberg, Hunter Long, Larno Coleman, and Garrett Dokes.
Okay, this is one of the best draft classes.
Yeah, this was a very good draft.
Dolphins, as of recent, doing everything so well.
Yeah.
They're like geniuses. Jalen Waddle, any team that got him is going to be high graded, but you don't just look at Jalen Waddle. Jalen Phillips is a lot of people's best edge.
Yeah, he has so much potential.
And Javon Holland is a lot of people's best safety.
Yeah.
Liam Eichenberg, good tackle. Hunter Long, pretty good tight end. And then these 7th round picks, what are you going to do with a 7th round pick?
Yeah, this was definitely
But they did address some stuff they would still need for depth-wise, like tackle. They picked one in the 7th round. They picked a running back in the 7th round. They definitely did everything right, and this is an A.
An A, just a regular A?
This could be an A+.
All right. I like their draft, and I love Jalen Waddle. I love Jalen Waddle too, but I think if Penei Sewell's sitting there, you take him. And that was a criticism I had of the Bengals as well. So that's definitely going to hurt their grade. I'm going to give them a B+.
I think that's just too low. They got Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland, and Liam Eichenberg past Jalen Waddle, who's my best receiver.
That is true, but I feel like they could have gotten like a similar, like not a similar caliber, but like it wouldn't be as much of a downgrade as those tackles are to Penei, because Penei is probably a top 3 player in the draft.
Yeah.
So next up, I believe, who is next?
We're getting real close to the New York Giants, which is exciting.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Washington football team.
The football team, of course.
Football team.
So they had a pretty good draft, actually. Wow.
Yeah.
Jermaine Davis is probably one of the worst picks.
I wouldn't even say that's a bad pick, really.
I don't think it's a bad. I don't think it's a great pick for if I was a football team, but I guess they do need to address linebacker, so they got a good linebacker. But one of the biggest steals of the second round, Sam Cosmi.
Yeah, Sam Cosmi.
Benjamin St-Juste could be really good as well. That's a good pick. Diami Brown, good pick. I don't know much about John Bates because he went to Boise State.
Cameron Cheeseman.
Shaka Toney fell to the 7th round for them, and I know Shaka Toney's not great, but he is like 7th round pick. That's pretty crazy to me.
Derek Forrest is also a nice pickup.
Oh yeah, in the 5th. Yeah. I don't have much to say about football team. Because Ben and I have talked about this on the podcast. They will make the playoffs next year.
Yeah, and as I've stated, I consider them a serious contender to come out of the NFC. Not saying I think they're gonna, but they definitely are a serious contender too. Especially with these new draft additions.
Their defense is really good, and if Jermaine Davis works out, Benjamin St-Juste can be good. This is a lethal defense. It might be the best defense besides the Rams and 49ers in all of the NFC.
I don't know. They might even have a better defense than the 49ers. Maybe. I'm not going to say the Rams because they have those two guys.
No, it's not just the two guys. The Rams.
The Rams lost a significant amount of talent though. They lost Michael Brockers and
John Johnson.
Yeah, John Johnson. So Rams defense probably won't be the best again next year. But I'm never going to count out Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald.
Yeah, they have the best corner and the best defensive player. It's crazy. What do you give the football team here?
I'd give them a B. Solid B.
Give them a B.
You give them a B too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a solid B is good for, there's not that much to really talk about for them. They address needs. I wouldn't even say Jermaine Davis is that much of a reach. They didn't really reach for anyone. They just had a solid draft. And
but they did have the only thing that makes it a bit of a higher B, but not quite a B plus, is the Sam Cosmi pick at
yeah. And would you like to transition into the next pick?
Is the next pick Giants?
It's the Giants, yeah.
The New York Giants. If you say Kadarius Toney is a bad pick, you know nothing.
I mean, I think it's a bad pick. Is it the worst pick? No, but I still think it's a bad pick.
Kadarius Toney is exactly what the Giants need. I knew we were going to take receiver in the first round. I just thought I did not expect a trade down.
Well, you got the Eagles and Cowboys sabotaged you guys. It's kind of funny. The Eagles jumped in front of the Cowboys and stole Devontae Smith right out of your guys' hands.
Then Kadarius Toney, I think that's a really good pick. Azeez Ojulari, some people's best edge, maybe just past.
Yeah, that was a great pick.
Aaron Robinson, I think we talked about before the draft how much I liked Aaron Robinson.
Yeah,
so that's fun that we got a player I like. Ellerson Smith, I don't know much about him. He's listed at edge here. He's kind of more like a linebacker. He'll probably play outside linebacker, but he could definitely be an inside linebacker just because of how bad our linebacking core is right now.
David Mayo.
Someone who will never play ever, Gary Brightwell, because Saquon Barkley is the best. Rodarius Williams, I think that's a really good pick for the 6th round.
Yeah. You want to do your grade first, or you want me to?
I'm gonna get rid of the bias and just go B+.
I'm gonna go B-. We have different opinions on the Toney pick. I definitely don't think it was like an F grade pick. It wasn't even probably a bottom 3 pick of the first round. But because after I read about it, the Jaguars would have taken him if they didn't. That's who the Jaguars wanted. So the Jaguars would have taken him in the first round. But yeah. I still don't really like the pick. So I'm gonna give them a B-. I love the Azeez pick though.
the Aziz and the Aaron Robinson picks.
Yeah, two great picks. And then the late draft, Gary Brightwell, he's all right.
He's just not going to play.
Hopefully will not play.
Oh, yeah, that'd be really upsetting.
Next up, Indianapolis Colts. This is a draft that I haven't really researched it a lot, honestly. What did they like? They didn't really make like any. It's similar to the football team draft. They didn't really do much. They address needs, but you look at this Colts team, they don't have many needs. This is a team that is truly ready to contend, especially if Carson Wentz goes back to form.
The only notable picks for me that I think are like whatever is obviously their first round pick, Kwity Paye. I think Kwity Paye, for a lot of people, if you were making this mock draft earlier this year, Kwity Paye was higher. I think Sean Davis is a good player, and I think Sam Ehlinger is not that good.
He's the Jacoby Brissett replacement.
He's the backup replacement.
Jeez, I do not like this draft.
But I think it's good that they did take QB because Carson Wentz was so questionable last year.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this draft, honestly.
Neither am I. So
I'm going to give them a C-. I really don't like this draft. I don't like their second round pick. Their first round pick was the most mediocre it can get, and their late round picks, besides Sean Davis, aren't very good.
I'm going to give it a C+.
Yeah.
I do like that they addressed the quarterback situation. The only thing that I think they definitely should have done was, why did they take tight end in the fourth when there were still some decent receivers on the board?
Yeah, I have no clue.
I think receiver should have been addressed there. Their best receiver is T.Y. Hilton still, and T.Y. Hilton just hasn't been the same since Andrew Luck retired.
Yeah, he's not very good. I mean, Michael Pittman they drafted last year. He could turn into something. I would have taken a receiver. I agree. I would have possibly taken one in the first round.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, they just missed on Kadarius Toney, but there were still a lot of good players left.
I mean, Rashad Bateman was sitting there.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore for sure. That's probably who I would have taken. Yeah, some very good receivers. Yeah, I don't like that draft. But moving on, we got the Tennessee Titans, who first round pick and second round pick I both absolutely love. Caleb Farley, sure, he's a big question mark because of the injury. Steal. It's a steal.
He's my number one corner. I think he's just so talented.
He's my number 3 corner, but I still all 3 of the corners in this draft to me were very close.
They were very close.
I had J.C. Horn. I had J.C. Horn, not even because of the Panthers. That was before the Panthers took him. And then Farley and Surtain just swapped back and forth. I couldn't decide between the two. But obviously he has the injury concerns. But on potential alone, this was a great pick. And I hope he can stay healthy because he is very talented. And I also absolutely love their second round pick, Dylan Randers. The leader of the pass protection for Trey Lance. I think that's a great pick in the second round. But then you get to some of these mid and late round picks other than those two. I'm not a big fan of those.
I don't even know who a lot of these people are except for Elijah Molden in the third round. I barely know much about Monty Rice. I just know his name because Georgia. I don't really look at
I know Des Fitzpatrick. He's all right. It's not that good of a pick.
I know Rashad Weaver as well, but I don't know. I don't really know.
This team really did hit on their first 2 picks, like big time, but these rest of the picks are just not good. So for that, because obviously the early picks are worth more, just that's how it works. I'm gonna give them a solid B just because I love their first 2 picks so much. But
I'm gonna give them a B-. I'm gonna be a little tougher on them.
Yeah, I can get that because other than those 2 picks, they didn't really draft anyone that's gonna contribute. And this is a team that could possibly face some serious regression next year. So they had a lot of needs.
Wait, I'm thinking right now, who is the Titans tight end right now?
I'm not sure.
Who is the Titans tight end? Anthony Ferguson.
Oh yeah, it's Ferguson. He's all right. But they definitely needed one.
Yeah.
But next up, the Minnesota Vikings. So we talked about the Bears in their spot last time. So we'll be talking about the Minnesota Vikings this time.
Okay. Yeah. I needed a little refresher. I'm looking at it. They had a decent draft, actually.
Yeah. So I love their first. They traded down and were still able to get the guy they want. That's amazing.
I love a lot of these picks. Like, I love a lot of these picks.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to give them bonus points for like the fact that they traded down and were still able to get their guy is amazing. Oh, they had a great draft. I'm looking at this too.
They snatched Parasol, which is crazy. Then Kellen Mond, who is interesting. Chaz Surratt, who I like a lot.
I'm not a big fan of that pick.
Wyatt Davis, which is great.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Patrick Jones, which
solid.
I think he's pretty good. Solid and then point. The rest of these players, I know Amir Smith. I know Amir Smith Marset. I know that's about it. About these late guys. Jalen Twyman, actually, I know who that is.
I know Janarius Robinson too. He's all right, but
I don't know. I think they actually had a really good draft. I'm gonna go A-.
I'm gonna give them a B+. I'd like that. I absolutely love the Darrisaw pick. I like that they were able to, as I said before, I like that they were able to trade down and still get their guy. That's always impressive to me. Kellen Mond's a solid pickup in the third round. I like that. I'm not a big fan of the Chad Surratt pick, as I said. Love the Wyatt Davis pick. And then some of the other picks, so the mid-round picks are kind of 50-50. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with a B+.
Yeah.
Oh, and next up, we have your other team you like, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who...
Okay.
There are definitely mixed opinions on their first-round pick, running back Najee Harris. How do you feel about that pick?
We needed a running back. I wouldn't say it's our biggest need. Our biggest need was offensive line.
I would have probably drafted a lineman there. There was some great linemen still there. I probably would have drafted one. I'm being honest. Najee Harris is great, but I would have drafted a lineman there.
But if you guys are very loyal to the NanoBlitz podcast and you watched all of our videos, in my Giants video where we talked about what we wanted our teams to do in the offseason, and I did the Giants, I said, I want Presley Harvin III. And yes, the big punter out of Georgia Tech. He's like 260 or something like that. And the this is the best punter in college football. This dude can punt a ball so far. It's crazy.
That's an interesting fact. Oh, they got Quincy Roche on the 6th. That's a great pick.
Oh, wow. Isaiah Loudermilk. That's a funny name.
Buddy Johnson's a nice pick.
Yeah, Buddy Johnson's a nice pick. Kendrick Green in the 3rd is.
I'm not a fan of the Pat Freiermuth pick.
Yeah, I don't know how.
It was for value, it's good, but I would have addressed a different position.
I think Eric Ebron had a lot of drop issues, but you can fix that.
Yeah, that's the thing with this draft. They definitely got good value for their picks. I just don't think they addressed the right needs. I think instead of
almost isn't a replacement for Eric Ebron or he doesn't even compete with Eric Ebron. I think he is their Vance McDonald replacement.
Interesting.
Which is so strange that a team would address in the second round. I mean, I know the Steelers like to run their 2 tight end sets and all that, but I don't know. It's a little strange to me. But Najee, as much as I think he's talented, I also don't think he is what we needed to pick up there.
Yeah, I agree. I am really not a fan of that pick. I'm not a fan of the Brett Freiermuth pick. They did get some nice looking on the positive side, though. They did get some nice late round steals. I like the Buddy Johnson pick. I love the Quincy Roche pick, and that Presley Harvin III was a good pick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them a B. C+. C+. I really did not like their first 2 picks.
I'm going to also give them a C+. I love Presley Harvin. I like Quincy Roche. Buddy Johnson's a good pick. Kendrick Green's a good pick, but these first 2 picks, though I think they got really good players, I don't think they got really good.
Yeah, they didn't address the needs.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We're not going to be doing the Jaguars here. If you want to see a Jacksonville Jaguars analysis, check our last video. They're right at the start. But for this pick, we're going to be going over the pick that was traded to them, the Los Angeles Rams. So that's
all right. I was excited to talk about the Rams because they had a lot of picks for a team without a first-round pick.
Yeah, it's not a Seattle Seahawks situation where you literally only have 3 picks. I believe they did some trading down in this draft, so like the Panthers. So they had some interesting picks. Tutu Atwell, 2nd round. Interesting.
I don't know about that one. My favorite pick, though. Oh, geez. Okay.
This was not a very good draft.
This might be one of the worst drafts.
To be fair, though, I think they were. I don't think they were looking. They already have the splash players. They have Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp. Right. They were just they kind of did what they were needed to do, and I'm not going to give them. I mean, they definitely didn't have a great draft, but they did. They addressed a lot of depth, but something I'm very concerned about is I know they drafted Ernest Jones in the third round. I don't think they have replaced. They didn't. I don't think they've replaced the losses that they had in free agency. Like they lost two key pieces to their defense this offseason, as I was talking about earlier, in Michael Brockers and John Johnson, two of the best players on their defense, obviously aside from the obvious two.
Yeah,
I don't really see how they replace them, and I think that defense is gonna fall off a little. I don't think they'll be the best defense in football next year.
Regardless, they already have a really good team, and Ben and I both like the Los Angeles Rams a lot for next year. Now, I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I talk to people who say, hey, this could be a Super Bowl contending team. And the draft was kind of a decider for me. And as of right now, if they were in the AFC, I would say no. But the NFC, it could still be theirs. NFC is much more competitive. AFC.
Yeah, I agree with you.
AFC is pretty much between three teams, I'd say.
Yeah.
Even if you want to say three, it could just be the Chiefs, honestly. But yeah. I'd say Chiefs. I'd say now probably even the Browns. And because they just got so much talent, the Browns. Yeah. And then maybe nothing past that. Maybe the Ravens.
Maybe. But moving back to the Rams, honestly, they're a team that I could really see beating the Bucs in the playoffs. They almost did it last year, and I could easily see them doing it. But I don't see them getting past some of these other teams. Actually, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, they have a good shot at coming out of because I can easily see them beating the Bucs. Yeah. I don't know why. I can just see that happening.
I don't know. I feel like the Bucs on paper are like the counter to the Rams. They have good receivers past their first receivers, so you can't just cover the person with Jalen Ramsey and call it done. And then they have one of the highest graded offensive lines this year.
Yeah.
You can throw them against any tackle, any guard, and Aaron Donald is going to win the blocks. But if he's getting double, triple teamed by those guys, he's going to have a hard time.
Yeah, that's true. I think that, yeah, you're right about that. What would you give them? I did not think they had a good draft. I'd probably give them like a D.
Oh, really? I'm going straight to F.
Wow.
And there's no such thing as an F plus because I would give them an F plus, but F plus is not a thing.
I was just giving them a slightly elevated grade because I feel that they came into this draft focused on depth. But yeah, they did not have a good draft at all. Next up is we were talking. Oh wait, no, we already talked. Did we already talk about the Browns? Oh wait, no, yeah, the Browns right now. All right, the Browns. The Browns are finally making good decisions in both free agency and the draft. It seems like, their first round pick. I mean, it was a good value. It's similar to the Steward situation. It's a good value pick, but do you really need another corner?
Their defense is scary.
Yeah, on paper, but the question is, are they going to perform? I don't see this performing as much as they're hyped up on paper.
I don't know, but they got a huge steal with the second round.
Yeah.
Like, how?
Yeah.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
They addressed that linebacker need for sure.
That's who I thought the Giants were going to draft at 11. Then I thought that's who the Giants were going to draft at 20. And then they drafted, and then the Browns got him at 20 in the second round.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy to me. Anthony Schwartz.
One of the fastest people in the draft.
Yeah, I was about to say, your typical fast guy. I don't see much past that, but I still think fast guys can take the top off of a defense. People don't really look at that.
Yeah.
We got LeCon, James Hudson. I don't know much about the Cincinnati lineman. I don't have much to say about this except for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was their best pick.
Yeah, I mean the Greg Newsome pick's okay. But
Yeah,
I don't think they should have drafted a corner personally. I don't think that was a very big need for him. I mean, you have Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward, two, I believe, former first-round picks that you drafted. I think Denzel Ward was like the fourth pick, and they've been performing pretty good. So I don't see why you need another corner. So I'm gonna give them a B minus. Though the JOK and Newsom picks kind of cross each other out, but Anthony Schwartz, you're right. He's just a typical fast guy, and then a whole lot of nothing in the last few rounds.
I'm also going to give them a B minus.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, the Browns they just get a lot of talent. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't see this team like sticking that well on paper. They'll still be a playoff team, but I don't think this is a team that can beat the Chiefs or even the Bills. I mean, you saw what happened last year. Chad Henne came in. Patrick Mahomes wasn't even playing, and Chad Henne still beat the Browns. I know they got some nice additions this offseason, but I still don't see them being able to be like a true like favorite in the AFC. I don't see them competing with those two big teams. They could compete with the Ravens, but I don't see them competing with any of those two teams. Mm-hmm. And speaking of the Ravens, they're the next team on our list. So let's talk about them. They finally got Lamar Jackson, a receiver.
Let's hope this is the better first-round receiver.
Yeah. Hollywood Brown. Well, it looks like he can actually catch. Hollywood Brown was your typical fast guy.
Yeah, he literally was. Rashad Bateman is a slot guy, but slot guy is good, especially for someone like Lamar Jackson, where they're scrambling, running around, move Rashad Bateman up and down the field. Rashad Bateman seems like he could probably be a really coachable player, and if you can do wonders with Lamar Jackson, you could do wonders with Rashad Bateman. This could be lethal. Rashad Bateman could be really, really
crazy
good.
That they played together in college.
It could be really, really, really good.
Yeah, they seem like a very good. Well, obviously they're a good fit for each other. They were great in college together, and then they got Odefe Owo. I honestly haven't researched him that much. Have you?
No. These Penn State defenders. This is inclusive of
Micah Parsons.
Yeah. They are all confusing to me. But first round pick, and I don't really know much about him, so I don't have much to say about him except good luck. We got Ben Cleveland.
That's a great pick. I really like that pick. Yeah. Tylan Wallace in the fourth, another great pick. Sean Wade in the fifth.
Sean Wade in the fifth is crazy.
Yeah, I know he got like burnt in that one game, but one game shouldn't mean you're a terrible player. That was a steal in the fifth. Then they got the best fullback, Ben Mason. He's gonna learn on Patrick Ricard, I guess.
I saw something like Ben Mason was in practice and he couldn't show up to practice the next day because the skin at the bottom of his feet was torn off.
What?
Yeah.
So what would you grade the Ravens draft?
They had a good draft.
Yeah, I
think they had a good draft. I would give them a B minus because they have a second first round pick and they just don't use it on someone I would have used it on.
Yeah, I definitely don't 100% agree with that pick, but I might actually give them a B plus because I love the selection of Ben Cleveland, and I think they had a solid draft besides maybe that one pick. But who knows? What? The Ravens have in the past been very good at drafting, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
This actually could be somewhere I change because I'm looking at it again. Tylan Wallace and Sean Wade both late. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna move my B minus to a B.
All right, next up, New Orleans Saints. They had a very surprising selection in the first round, but I mean, I guess I don't like this selection, but I'm not going to take it off too much for them because the Saints are that team that just is probably the best team in recent history. They're the best team at drafting. They always seem, especially in the early rounds, they always seem to get great talent. I remember that one year they had both the offensive rookie of the year and the offensive defensive player of the year. Defensive rookie of the year.
Gotcha.
with Alvin Kamara and Marshawn Lattimore. So they clearly know their talent. And who knows? This is definitely the Trey Hendrickson replacement. So
yeah, a lot of people came in seeing Peyton Turner, including myself, seeing Peyton Turner was like, what? Why'd they take him? Who is that? I did a little studying on Peyton Turner. He's very low risk. So,
yeah,
take that as you will. Paulson Adebo, that's a pretty good pick.
Warner is an okay pick.
Ian Book, that's crazy that they took a QB, but it's not crazy at all when you think about it.
Yeah, I think that's a little too high for them. And then I don't know the last two guys, Landon Young and Kawan Baker. They did not have a very good draft.
No.
They're a team that cut all those dudes in the offseason because they were like $100 million in salary cap debt. And I don't think, and they're still clearly trying to contend even without Drew Brees. And I don't see this draft. I don't think they address those needs very well. Like, I don't think they're trying to contend, but I don't see this team being able to contend with the powerhouses in the NFC, like the Bucs, Packers, if they keep Rodgers, and even the 49ers. So yeah, I don't like this draft. I'm going to give them a D. I really don't like this draft.
I'm going to give them a C-.
Yeah, I was not a fan of this one.
All right.
Well, next up's the Packers, I believe.
Yeah, it's the Packers.
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 You're trying to keep Aaron Rodgers happy. All this news breaks out over draft weekend that he wants out. And what do? You completely fumble the situation.
You draft Eric Stokes, which is a good pick.
I don't even think it's a good pick, personally. Even if you're drafting corner, I don't think it's a good pick.
I think it's a good pick. I know you wanted them to take Asante Samuel Jr.
I think he would have been a perfect fit in their scheme.
I like Eric Stokes more than Asante Samuel Jr., but doesn't matter because they drafted Amari Rodgers. That was a joke, by the way.
Oh.
Aaron Rodgers needed a first-round receiver.
Yeah, you needed a first-round receiver, and you see guys like there, like even like Terrence Marshall's there, Elijah Moore's there. I would have taken one of them. He needs a second receiver. You're trying to keep the man happy. And also, I hate this second-round pick. There was better centers available, and you take Josh Myers.
And you don't need to take center.
Yes, you did. They lost Corey Linsley.
Corey Linsley's not on the Packers anymore.
No, he's on the Chargers.
Oh yeah, isn't he the highest paid center?
Yeah, it's Frank Ragnow. He's the highest paid.
Maybe it was Linsley for like a little bit.
Might have been about a contract. But yeah, so obviously you needed to take a center. There was definitely a need, but there was much better ones. Like Quinn Nearez I would have taken. I think he's much better than Josh Myers.
I'm going to give this a D+.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go lower. I'm gonna go with a D because I don't even like the Eric Stokes pick, which is the one pick you liked. So yeah. I don't like their first round pick. The only pick in this entire draft that I actually like is the Amari Rodgers pick. But even then, you should have drafted a receiver earlier. Why did you wait that long? You know that Rodgers is pissed. You know that he is gonna want out if you don't make severe changes. So I don't know I just have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
Next up, Buffalo Bills. They did not have a very good draft. I mean, I get that you need edges, but I like the Gregory Rousseau pick. Definitely one of the more riskier picks of the first round. But he probably has the highest potential out of an edge in this draft. So I would have taken him there, honestly. And then you take Boogie Basham in this other round. I don't quite agree with that pick. I think first of all, I wouldn't have taken another edge. And second of all, I wouldn't have taken him anyway. So I don't even think he was the best edge or D lineman available.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other pick, Spencer Brown, I guess that's all right. Tommy Doyle drafted 2 tackles in a row.
Yeah, this is a really bad draft.
Ratchet, a Wild Goose, interesting pick. Yeah, this draft is really bad.
I can give you a pretty decent value pick, DeMar Hamilton. Gregory Rousseau's risky. So putting all that together, this is like a D.
Yeah, I don't like the Gregory Rousseau pick. When you're trying to contend, you don't take risky players like that. When you're trying to contend with the Kansas City Chiefs, you don't take risky players like that. You take guys that are safe, and even if they don't have as high as potential, they're going to make an impact in their first few years. That's what you need. So yeah, I'm gonna actually give this grade an F. I really don't like this. Like I like the Gregory Rousseau pick, but not to the Bills. Like it's good value, but I would have taken a more ready end. This is literally the opposite of being ready for the NFL. This is the biggest project in the draft, probably.
When I was talking earlier about the contenders in the AFC, I forgot to mention the Bills. My bad. I just wanted to correct myself real quick.
All right. Yeah, but I think this draft even widens the gap further between the Bills and the Chiefs, and I don't think they'll be able to take them down, honestly. I don't see this as a team that can defeat the Chiefs. Do you?
They drafted to beat the Chiefs. They didn't draft much else.
Exactly. They didn't draft they didn't even draft like NFL ready players. They drafted Gregory Rousseau, who literally is the biggest project in the draft.
Okay, so Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs, because the Ravens picked here, so we're going Chiefs.
Chiefs. Wow. So they got
Chiefs,
who people thought they were going to get in the first round. They got in the second round. I know you like Creed Humphrey a lot. I know he fell off a little bit, but I still like Creed Humphrey. I think he's really good. Nick Bolton. Chiefs definitely needed linebacker, so that's really great that they got him. Not much to say about a lot of these.
Trey Smith is a steal. I know he has his problems, but in the 6th round, that's a steal.
I think Cornell Powell is also a good pick.
Yeah, Trey Smith is definitely a good pick. I mean, he has his problems. He definitely wasn't a first-round pick anymore. But the fact that he fell this far is, to me, not – I don't think that's right. So, I don't think that's, like, the right – I don't think he should have fallen that much.
The Panthers could have had Trey Smith here.
We got another good guard in the 6th.
No, but I mean – because this was traded to the Jets to the Chiefs.
Oh, for Teddy. Oh, no, Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this Chiefs draft, honestly. I'm going to give them an A-. I really like their first 2 picks. I like the Trey Smith pick as well and the Cornell pick.
It almost makes me mad that the Chiefs drafted well because we know they're going to run the AFC for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them where I think they grade, and that's a B+. So I'm not going to ignore it just because I think I don't want them to be as great as they're going to be, but I'm just looking at the players and where the Chiefs are, and they couldn't have asked for a better draft almost. So
yeah. And moving on for the Bucs, if I had to describe this draft in 2 words, it would be luxury picks. Almost all of their picks were literally just luxury because they didn't need many things, so they could just kind of take the best player available.
Something interesting. Kyle Trask.
Yeah, exactly. A luxury pick. They just drafted a backup quarterback in the 2nd round.
I mean, he's going to learn under the best quarterback ever.
Yeah. KJ Britt's a nice pick.
And this is also fun because we get to look at the Mr. Irrelevant here. Grant Steward, the linebacker out of Houston. That's fun.
Yeah. How do you feel about their first-round pick, Joe Tyron? I know a lot of people are calling that a reach on the first day, but I'm not too sure about that. I think that's about right.
Joe Tryon was graded pretty high by the NFL, and I think he was graded a little too high. But I don't know I think he's more of an outside linebacker build when they should have addressed defensive end, like interior defensive end. So I'm not sure. I think he's a good player. Like, again, luxury pick.
Yeah, these were all luxury picks, so I can't fault them too much on these. I'm going to give them a C+, because even though it was luxury picks, it still wasn't – most of them weren't great picks. But when you win the Super Bowl, you can take these type of luxury picks, especially when you retain every single starter on your offense in the offseason. Yeah,
I'm going to give them an average B because Kyle Trask got taken, and if he can be good for them playing under Tom Brady, maybe he even plays the last game if they secure like a bye or no, they won't get a bye or something. I want to see him play, and it's exciting because Kyle Trask was super good in college up until like just recently, and he wasn't even terrible. He just threw a lot of picks, and I think learning with Tom Brady, picks is going to start to just go down and down and down.
Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up our draft picks. Thank you guys for watching, and as we said in the beginning of the video, if you want to see the first 16 teams, check out our part 1 of this. And yeah, you can always check out the Nano Blitz podcast on Instagram. We're starting to post more. And Yeah, see you guys next time.